Hey, everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you the third part in our top 40 in 40 minutes best games of all time. Now, we're going to be working through 20 to 11 today. And just as a quick refresher, this list is based off of 1,717 plays of 224 games, which is roughly 1,482 hours of play. So let's get right back. I'm gonna get this back to where I need it. There we go. We're gonna jump right into this list right after I tell you about our sponsor, Board Game Co. Board Game Co. is a fantastic website where you can buy, sell, and trade games. They have a great selection to choose from. If you're just looking to build out your collection, just looking to get more games, they probably have what you're looking for. They do a great job of keeping all the latest hotness in stock, as well as much of the old hotness as well. All the good stuff is there. Now, they also will buy games from you. Very easy system to use for that. I highly recommend you check it out. And of course, they have a trade system where if you have a Board Game Geek account and you've set up a trade list over there, you can then take your Board Game Geek username, put it into Board Game Co. Board Game Co. will then compare your trade list on Board Game Geek with their stock and build a custom trade list right there on their website. Makes it very, very easy to make a trade. If you do check them out, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Board Game Co. makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. All right, so this list, of course, like I said, number 20 to 11, it's 10 games. We're going to do it in 10 minutes. And we're going to start right now. All right, so number 20 is Small World. This is a game that is holding steady. It dropped one notch, which really doesn't mean a whole lot on a list of 40 games. And Small World is, the map differs in size based on how many players there are, because the whole idea is it's going to keep all of you jammed up next to each other, so you have to fight. And as you're spreading out, you'll choose a faction and a special power that are randomly matched up at the beginning of the game, and then you'll spread out on the map, collecting points with whatever method that faction is doing that, because every faction is a little bit different. And then eventually you're going to spread yourself thin. That's just the nature of the game, and you're going to go into decline and choose a new faction and special power. And when you do that, then you are going to go back out again, starting fresh. Go out and start, conquering again. Meanwhile, your old faction is getting whittled away because it's in decline now. It's basically going extinct. And there's so many cool factions and power combinations that come out that are very intriguing. Small World is number 20. Number 19 is Mechs versus Minions. Now, this has actually gone up a little bit despite me not playing it in the past year. I think that's anticipation is definitely coming to the table again soon. Mechs vs. Minions is a cooperative programming game where when you start each level, your mech has a little bit of a program going on, and you run through that program every time it's your turn. But then every time it's your turn, you also are going to add to the program. And so then you run through that. And you can adjust the program as you get more cards, and all kinds of unintended things might happen. And there's literally 100 minions that come with the game that you're going to be stomping. They're not super powerful, and they take a lot of damage. They easily die, I should say. But they also can swarm you, or they also can swarm whatever their objective is for that round, or try to stop you from doing your objective. Really, really cool, beautiful looking game as well. Mechs versus Minions. Number 18, brand new to the list, Warfighter Shadow War. This is I don't know that I'd ever really want to play with more than one player. This is probably a only solo game for me, based on real life combat situations, special forces situations, using night vision. This particular one is all nighttime combat, all nighttime operations. It's abstracted out a bit because it is a card game, and it's in a kind of a linear line. You're moving from this objective to this objective to this objective, or this location to this location, trying to get to your objective, I should say. And you have to be very careful. You have to use noise discipline because, again, nighttime operations, you're using a small force, 1, 2, maybe 3 soldiers, usually 1 or 2. And you're trying to get to whatever your objective is for that particular scenario. You have to choose how you infiltrate, how you exfiltrate. Very, very cool. Warfighter Shadow War. Number 17 is Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game. I have really been wanting to get this one back to the table lately. This is one of the originals in my collection. This one will never leave my collection. It is just such an amazing game. It's one of the first zombie games for board gaming that I know of where zombies weren't the main focus. They're definitely there. They're definitely an ever-present threat, but you're also dealing with other players. It's got that Walking Dead feel where humans are as much of a threat, if not more so, than the zombies. And you have there's a main objective that everybody's trying to accomplish. Each player also has a secret objective, and then maybe there might be a traitor in your midst as well. And you're going out, you're trying to search these different locations for supplies, for medicine, gasoline, food, trying to hold off these different crises that happen every round. And there's also, this is the originator of the Crossroads card system, which actually I think there's only like 3 games that use that at this point. But absolutely fantastic game, Dead of Winter. Number 16 is Shadows of Kilforth, a fantasy quest game. This is also new to the list. Actually got quite a few new games in this section of the list right here. But Shadows of Kilforth is you have a grid of locations and you're moving around there and you're trying to prepare to fight this ancient that's getting ready to awaken, essentially. I don't know if they're awakening or they're just showing up, but you're preparing to fight this ancient, and there's all kinds of spells and items and equipment and allies and enemies and all kinds of stuff you can gather up. Very, very cool world building in this game. Very, very cool theme building with the equipment and the weapons that you can get, and the different characters and factions that are in the game that you can play as. I love it. This is Shadows of Kilforth. Number 15 is Orleon, which is it's staying. This has only dropped 1 spot from 14 last year, so holding very steady. This is another one that I don't think will ever leave my collection. This is just a classic style Euro game where you are going around the French countryside collecting different items. It's just collecting points is what you're doing, but it's like cheese and cloth, I think, and wine is in there, I believe. There's a number of different things, and you're collecting workers that you put into a bag that you draw from every round. This is the first bag building game that I had where you're drawing from a bag, and each the different workers you decide to go with all have their own special things that they do, and they unlock different things. And then if you're ready to get rid of some workers, you put them on the separate board that also gives you some cool unlocks. A lot of interesting decisions in Orleon. Number 14 is Nanga Parbot. Brand new to the list, brand new to my collection. This one I really want to get some more plays in. 2-player only, which I love 2-player only games because my main person I game with is my wife, and I found that when a game is tooled for 2 players and is specifically for 2 players, it almost always it kicks off with us, as long as it's not like a war game. She's not a big fan of those. But so Naga Parbot is, it's very abstracted, but essentially you're going to be putting pieces out on what represents Naga Parbot, which is a mountain, but you're setting up base camps and all this stuff. Again, very abstracted, but one of the cool things I really love about this game is the scoring mechanism, where there's certain different things that you can score, but each person can only score, like when something's scored, it's done. The other person can't score it. So if I score 4 camps, I put my piece there, the other person can't put their piece on that type of scoring where they'd have to get 5 camps or 3 camps or whatever it is. And there's lots of different ways you can score as well. That's Naga Parbot. Number 13, the Dale of Merchants series. So 1, 2, 3, and the collection. I love all of them. This game is so underrated. This is one of the most underrated games in my collection. It's a deck builder, but then also set collector, and you're putting out stalls, and you have to do it in order. First stall is worth 1, and then the next stall, your cards have to equal up to 2, and then 3, all the way up to 8. And all the cards have special abilities and special powers. And there's, if you have the whole series, there's so many factions that you mix together because you only use a few of them per game, and you mix them together to cause, have all these different interactions between the powers and everything. Dale of Merchants, the series is absolutely fantastic. I strongly recommend it. Start with number 1, but if you find you like number 1 even a little bit, get it all, and it's wonderful. Number 12 is Anachrony. This is one that is going up a little bit, going up 3 spots. Anachrony is you are at the basically Earth has had some sort of calamity, and you can't even really go outside without being in these mechs, and everybody is trying to get ready for the impending major disaster that's, I think, like an asteroid's coming or something. And so but it uses time travel, so you can borrow from the future, right? Yeah, I believe you're borrowing from the future, and then you have to pay it back in order to prevent a paradox from happening. And that basically the idea is, if the paradox happens, then you get negative points, and other kind of bad stuff happens, and you have to manage your it's super tight with resources. Water is very, very precious, and energy as well, because you have to power up the mechs to be able to go out in the first place. And if you don't manage your resources properly, you'll end up with workers that you can't even use because you or you can't use very efficiently anyway. Anachrony is such a cool, thinky game. And number 11, also new to the list, Roam and Roll. This is the heaviest roll and write I've ever played. And I mean, to be fair, I haven't played that many roll and writes, so that's kind of a superfluous statement. But Roam and Roll is a very heavy roll and write. But the cool thing about it is the reason why I think it's worth looking into, because a lot of people don't like the idea of a heavy roll and write for some reason, is imagine a Euro that has all these pieces for resources and stuff like that, except you don't need all those pieces because it's on the dice, and then you write it down, and that's all the pieces. And I'm out of time, but I'm gonna keep going for a second here. And the dice have so many symbols on them, and those look like they are very intimidating at first, difficult to figure out. But once you have the symbology figured out, the game really goes. It's really easy to once you have it all figured out, it just clicks. And I think this one, people are missing out on this one because a lot of so many roll and writes, just by the nature, are, and nothing wrong with this because there's a lot of great roll and writes out there, but so many roll and writes are lighter and attract a crowd that enjoys lighter games. And so then Roam and Roll is heavier than what they would be really wanting. And then the people who are not interested in those lighter games dismiss Roam and Roll because it's a roll and write. And so this is one that, no matter which side of that spectrum you fall on, I strongly recommend you give it a shot, because it might be the thing in the middle of those two ends of the spectrum that people really enjoy. Thanks for watching this. We've got one more video in our top 40 to go, and I can't wait to let you see what is in my top 10 this year. Just to give you an idea, for the top 10, there are 3 new games in the top 10. So that, and there's actually a decent amount of movement in the top 10 as well. So could be some surprises. Please come back, check it out. Be sure to check the description for ways you can support the channel. If any of these games interest you that you saw today or in the previous ones, there's links in the description for you to purchase them. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.